Archery Talk. This is Lucas, and today I'm having a chance to talk to Darrin Christenberry, the Pro Staff Coordinator for Elite Archery in the Outdoor Group, and he's going to help me kind of look at the 2022 Elite lineup and maybe help me decide which bow I'm going to test this year to be part of the 2022 Archery Talk Hunting Bow Shootout. Darrin, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thanks for having me.
Oh, man, I'm absolutely thrilled that you're able to join us. So do you want to walk us through a little bit Elite's new bows for 2022?
Yeah. And again, as you said, I'm the pro staff coordinator, so I'm not a sales guy for the company, so I don't handle these bows every day, and I'm not as well versed in them as some of the sales guys would be, but I am familiar with the bows and can work my way around them. But for 2022, sorry about my home phone ringing, we have an addition to the Ember. The Ember was a fully adjustable bow that we brought out in 2020. Some people call it a kid's bow. Some people call it a youth bow. We call it a fully adjustable bow. And it went from 15 to 29 inches and from 10 to 60 pounds of draw weight. Well, now we've come out with the Basin, which is a bigger version of that. And it'll go from 16 to 30 inches of draw length, and it'll go from 20 to 70 pounds. So it's that bow will reach a huge customer base for people that want to get into archery. I see brand loyalty all the time. Usually the first bow brand they buy, they may stay with it for their whole career. So we hadn't had that option for our customers for the longest time. So the Ember and Basin are there to get new archers into it. Along with the Terrain. The Terrain is a new cam system and everything for us for 2022. It's a hybrid cam system, have a control cable and a split yoke. Typically we do a binary cam system, but this year it's a little bit different. That bow will go from 25.5 to 31.5, I believe. So we almost get to 32 inches of draw length, which a few people ask for, but that bow comes in around $700 MSRP. So it won't break the bank. It's a very good looking bow. It's a very good performing bow. And like I said, it's not our flagship, but it's a middle of the road that'll get the job done for a decent price. And then probably the bow I would recommend you trying, if you're not familiar with Elite, is the new Envision. The Envision's a whole new platform. It has the tri-track cam system that we came out with in 2020. It's got the S.E.T technology, 1/4 inch draw length adjustments. You can run cable stops. You can run limb stops. The S.E.T technology is actually a refined set. It's a wider limb pocket, so you've got a real long riser, a wide limb pocket, it's just a more stable platform. And I think you'll see more of that in the near future with Elite Archery, but I feel like it's a more stable shooting bow. It's more shooter friendly. It's very tunable, very easy to work with, and the Envision is our flagship for 2022. All the bells and whistles on that one.
Yeah, I'm actually very excited about the opportunity to shoot an Elite. I've been trying to get one of these in for testing for the last, really since I started doing these videos 5 years ago, and we just never been able to get the everything hooked up, and this looks to be the year. I'm very excited about it, and I never had a chance to play with the new S.E.T technology that Elite came up with just about 2 years ago now, I think. Can you maybe kind of let folks know what that is and how that works?
Yeah, S.E.T technology, actually, it came to be from Nathan Brooks. Nathan Brooks was working on his wife Jen's bows all the time, and she just had, with our old solid limb bows, you could shim the cams. You really didn't have a lot of ways to tune. You could roll the cable rod in and out, adjust your arrow rest. You could shim the cams from one side to the other on the axle to get some tuning. Those wouldn't always get him where he needed to be. So he started taking the limb rockers out, the bed that the limb sits in, and he started filing them down on one side. And what that would do is it would allow the limb tips to shift in the direction he wanted them to shift, and he could achieve that tune easier. So he got to talking with Josh Sidebottom, our lead design engineer, and said, hey, what if we design something to where we could adjust that pocket to manipulate those limb tips? They literally sat down in the booth in Vegas in 2019, and that's how S.E.T technology came to be. Josh he drew it up right there, and the finished product really didn't change much from his initial version. But what it does where the limb pocket bolts onto the riser, there's a locking screw in the back of the riser on top and bottom. And then there's call outs. If you can read a paper tear, if you shoot an arrow through paper and you get a knock right tear, you loosen the lock screw, and around on the side there's an adjustment screw, and it'll tell you knock right tear. It's going to go clockwise. If you're getting a knock left tear through paper, you're going to go counterclockwise. So you just turn that S.E.T technology and it rocks those limbs, or the actual pocket, which manipulates the limb tips, and it changes the attitude of the cam. And I'm telling you, it's simple. It's all done with a 5/32 Allen wrench. You don't need a bow press. You don't need to shim cams. There might be that one strange diamond in the rough where you get a guy that gets a big handful of grip or gets a big fat face into his anchor, and it may not tune the easiest, but I haven't seen an arrow literally that I can't tune out of my bows with S.E.T technology. The tri-track cam system helped a ton, but when we add S.E.T technology to the equation, man, we've got one of the most tunable bows, one of the most adjustable bows on the market right now.
No, I'm really excited to try it out. Just again, I'm very keen on people being able to make adjustments to their own bow at home without having to run to a bow shop whenever they think they've got something a little bit off, if they're trying to get their broadheads tuned or whatever else. It's just nice that they can do that in their basement or in their backyard with an Allen wrench.
Yeah, for sure. And we're not trying to circumvent the dealer. We're not saying, hey, you don't need your dealer anymore. We're not saying that at all. But when you learn this equipment and you learn how it works and what makes it tick, if you can learn those adjustments and utilize the technology that you're paying for when you buy these new $1,000 plus bows, when you learn how to use that stuff, it just makes you a better all-around archer. You're more accurate. You're more consistent. You're probably going to want to shoot more. You're more lethal in the hunting woods. It's just, it benefits you all the way around when you can learn it yourself. I know some of it's intimidating and a lot of people don't want to experiment with it, but trust me, you can't screw anything up. It's very simple to put back where you got it, but it's fun to play with, to learn what your bow will do and what making these adjustments will do to increase your accuracy.
When you're talking about making the adjustments, about how much room for adjustment is there when you're moving the limbs left or right? Like how many kind of turns of an Allen key do you have to play with?
Yeah.
Is it pretty finite, or is there a lot of space?
No, on like the Result, the Cure, the Result 36, the Encore, you get about 1 to 1 1/4 revolutions, full revolutions in each direction. Now with the new design, the wider platform on the Envision, for whatever reason, the new S.E.T 2.0, you get about 1.5 turns in each direction. So you can really rock it. Now, typically, like I said, with the tri-track cam systems, sometimes you don't even need S.E.T. You take them out of the box, put your arrow rest on, boom, you get a perfect bullet hole. Now, if you want to, fine tune broadheads or do some bear shaft tuning, you might want to dive into S.E.T a little bit, but there's a lot of times it's not even needed. There's a safety net, and it's really responsive. I think that's the greatest thing about it, is you don't have a lot of time invested in a bow press. 5/32 Allen wrench, and when you make an adjustment, you immediately see the results. And that was the frustrating thing about solid cams and shimming cams on the axle. You spend all that time in a press fumbling around with shims, get it all put back together, and go back to paper and find out it didn't change anything. And that's the worst feeling in the world. So I think the S.E.T technology is really responsive, and you can see immediate results with just very fine incremental movements.
All right, Darrin, I really want to appreciate your time, and thank you for joining us here and let me know what to expect from Elite in 2022. And I'm looking forward to getting one of these bows in for testing.
Yeah, I'm excited for you. If you haven't played with one, I mean, the Envision is kind of the culmination of all this technology over the past couple of years. It's, like I said, longer riser, wider platform, the S.E.T technology, 1/4 inch draw length adjustments, limb stops, cable stops. If you can't make this bow feel like you want it, I'll be surprised. It's got a lot of adjustment in it.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.